Wow, what a result. Sudan, the Falcons of Jedani of Sudan have just beaten the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Super Eagles, the super home-based Eagles. The Falcons of Jedani, the home-based team of Sudan, have just beaten Nigeria by 4-0. Can you believe that result? That result is unbelievable. But was it expected? If you ask me, I would say it was expected. You know, Nigeria lost their first game to Senegal. How did we lose? A defensive blunder. The team played, they were packed, and you know, against the Sudanese side. This Sudanese side, Kwesi Appiah's team, the coach, both on the home turf cup qualifier, this guy is doing wonders to that team. You know, most of the players in this home-based Sudanese team, they are from Al Hilal. So Al Hilal have 13 players in that team, and they really showed why they have the best, one of the best leagues in Africa. You know, if you want to match Nigeria and Sudan in terms of football using our foreign base, they don't come close. But since Kwesi Appiah took over this team group, they are ahead of Ghana. Kwesi Appiah that was coaching Ghana before, they're ahead of Ghana. So now they showed Nigeria why they are far better than our home-based Eagles. What a game. 2-0 in the first half, 2-0 in the second half, making it 4-0. Pinpoint from. Let's look at the Nigerian team. Eric Chell. I wouldn't blame because he's a new coach to the team, you know, considering all what happened, removing of one coach to another, Finidi George, Augustine Eguavon, and he coming in, and he's not really familiar with the players. But would you say he's not familiar with the players? Fidelis Ilechukwu and Daniel Ogumodede, the current Remo Stars coach that won the Premier League, are his assistant. So are we going to give an excuse for that? We are not going to give an excuse for that. What is the main excuse for this game? Okay, let's look at what happened on the pitch. Actually, what happened on the pitch was just the Sudanese guys were just too good for Nigeria. They will allow us to play, and they will sit back, and their transition from defense to attack is marvelous. Nigeria, we can only play from field, but when we come to the final third, you see this panicky kind of play that we exhibited, and we didn't create much chance. Although we scored an offside goal, we scored first, and after checking the VAR, it was an offside call. So after the offside call, a minute later, Sudan scored through an own goal. 3-year-old defender called Kenge. He was so naive that he had to jump on his own defender to head the ball. But the penalty call, his defender was in front of him, and he jumped ahead and he used inside of the box. It was a cheap penalty to concede at this level of the game. You know, for an home-based, you have to play. You have to play to impress. You have to play to be able to qualify yourself into the mainstream of the national team. Genge, sorry, and he was immediately taken out after the first half. He didn't come back with the players. He was replaced immediately by Eric. That didn't stop Sudan from scoring. You know, this guy, Jacob Omer was the MVP in their first game against Congo, and that guy was doing wonders with the ball. He scored 2 marvelous goals. It's 2 classic goals, 2 television goals, like the way we call it in Nigeria, 2 television goals. And you know, they just threw Nigeria's defense apart in 6s and in their 7s in the box. You know, the first one, he controlled, he had his time, he picked his spot, he placed the keeper into the narrowest of angles, and the keeper couldn't. You wouldn't blame the keeper for conceding 4 goals, because all of the 4 goals were world-class goals. And the 4th goal, you know, a poor defensive clearance from Manyo, and Jacob Omer was at the right place at the right time with a volley, hit, you know, the roof of the net, giving the keeper no chance. So would you blame Nigeria? You wouldn't blame the players as well. Who is to blame? When we come back, we're going to review that. Okay guys, welcome back. You know, I feel so bad because I'm Nigerian, because we haven't been beaten like this in a long while, you know. So let's look at the tactics, the tactical approach of both coaches into this game. Eric Chell sides, that's the coach of the Nigerian side. Eric Chell sides, you know, they looked mechanical. As in, if I say mechanical, they were physical, but they weren't. There wasn't much creativity in the team. There wasn't much cohesion in the team. You wouldn't see that cohesion. You know, when the midfielder holds the ball, you see that panicky style of play. You know, let me release the ball. You know, let me run to the ball. You know, they were physical. They were running across all the width of the pitch. But you know, but on the other hand, Kwesi Appiah's team were composed. You know, it shows that this team, they've been playing together for most of these players to also play their World Cup qualifier. You understand? So the difference in the coherence of the team was clear. You know, Nigeria were just having 60% of the possession. All through the game, Nigeria had more possessions to show you that Kwesi Appiah knew the kind of team he was going to play. So he sat back and they were trying to win the balls. They were putting pressure. You know, they were putting pressure on the fielders and the defenders to make mistakes. And you know, some of those mistakes, you know, proved costly. As at the 81st minute, Sudan had already had 9 shots on target and they scored 4, which shows that the Nigerian defense is shaky, is lacking. As in, there's something not good about the defense line. But the central defense backs, there's something not really good. You see that panicky effect. You see the recovery, even the recovery into the box when the Sudanese win the ball. The recovery is you know, there's this panicky kind of, let me clear the ball, there's no build up from defense. You know, sometimes we tried, we had composures, but Sudan really knew what in this game and they got it. Kwesi Appiah used these midfielders and attackers to press. You know, the high press, they really pressed the Nigerian team and forced us to make errors. You know, and some inexperienced defenders there showed poor clearances, you know, poor decision making, even going forward, you know, the time to release the ball. And, you know, since we couldn't penetrate the defense, we were trying long range shots. You know, this shows that the team had already used all the tricks in their box. So I don't know what else they can do. Appiah's men did what they were sent to do to Nigeria, and they demolished, they destroyed, they bamboozled, they pummeled, they, you know, look for any other word to qualify the kind of victory they had over Nigeria, because it's a priceless victory over a great nation like Nigeria. So Nigeria, on the home front, we have two World Cup qualifiers, crucial World Cup qualifiers. You know, Nigeria will play Rwanda on September 6th at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Then 3 days later, we'll go and play another crucial game. So what does this mean to the coach Eric Chell? Is it going to affect his psyche? Is it going to affect his tactics? How is he going to juxtapose this dismal outing at Chan into the mainstream team of the Super Eagles? Well, the results will have to tell, because the foreign-based players, you know, to Nigerians are more reliable than the home-based players. I beg your pardon. So let's see how Nigeria will pan out. So Nigeria will play their last game against Congo in Group D. You know, Congo drew their first 2 matches. They drew against this Sudanese side, and they drew against Senegal. They even took the lead before Senegal came back in the last few minutes of the game to equalize. So Nigeria will be playing. Don't rule out Congo. Congo also are a strong side on the home-based national team level. So if Nigeria loses all 3 games, it's going to be disastrous for the team. It has never happened before in a CHAN competition. So these boys will have to play for pride. There's no more pressure. They are out of the tournament, and they must grab the bull by the horn. They must give it all it takes to restore Nigeria's pride in this tournament. Thank you once again for joining us. So please like our page, drop comments, and share our videos. Thank you so much.
The game starts, and during 20 minutes, the player are focused. We score a goal, And after that, we did a lot of mistake, and we give up the game in second half. Four goal, four mistake for me, and I think this is the analyze, but it's hard, it's tough because it's our fault. I think the reality when we do this group to come for the Shan, this is not the same group actually. Maybe between 5 and 8 players leave the camp or never come for this camp. They leave to go to another and in another league. So the team was not like we imagine. So, but the reality for me, it was the best player in the league. So we can't play some game like that and lose because we did a lot of mistakes during these two games. First goal against Senegal, this is the mistake. 4 goal now, the two first goal mistake.